All right, back on our 230, and today we're going to be changing the oil. So here's what we got. We have some oil. This is some oil we got from a friend. I'm not actually sure what it's called. It's just in a Mobile One bottle. You just go get whatever from your Yamaha dealer. Funnel, drain pan, socket set, and then here we just have a yogurt container that we put on the scale with water to measure 500 milliliters. This takes 1,000 milliliters, or a liter, and so this line is about 500 milliliters. So we'll just do that twice, that we don't have to have a special measuring cup. And let's get into it. Okay, and I forgot to mention, but we also picked up a little oil filter. Okay, so we went ahead and took out the 9/16 bolt that was sitting right up there for this little skid plate dealio. So we tipped it down so that the other side, when we take the oil filter out, doesn't cover that in oil. Under here, right behind the shifter, is the oil filter. Put a wrench on it. It's a 3/4 inch wrench. And just get in there, wear some gloves, get your drain pan, and there it goes. Okay, and then here, pop out two 8mm bolts and then a 5mm Allen from the bottom. And then on this side, there's your oil filter. Now, honestly, a little bit concerned because on the oil filter, there's all these chunks of metal. So hopefully there's nothing too wrong, but it's not ideal to see. You usually want this to be completely clean. And you can see here from out of the little casing where the oil filter goes, lots of little shiny particles, which you definitely don't want to see. Alright, so because of all the metal chunks, we're here with our brake clean, and we are just spraying these all out and getting them all cleaned up. Okay, so here we are. Just put this back together, spring in, and that's the way the little basket goes. And grab out the oil filter in the box, and that end, you put a little bit of oil on, and it sits on like this with the little plus signal sticking out, which is actually sticking into the motor. There we go, taking the piece and sticking it right in there, and gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Gonna make it snug, not too tight where it is stripping the threads, but not too loose where you leak oil. Can you find? Okay, here we are. So on the other side, got our filter in, and then we're gonna go ahead and take this plate, make sure the O-ring stays in it, and spin it around to the right orientation. Pop it right in there and put the bolts. The long one goes up here, the short one goes here, and then the Allen goes in the bottom. Alright, so we got both sides put back together now. So I'm gonna come over here, use our little measuring cup, measure out the oil, and plop it in the bike. So right there, you can see just a little bit of change in color right at that line. That's where the oil is. So that's 500 milliliters, so we'll do that twice. So now we're just putting in the other bit of oil. Then you can see it's starting to come up the sight, just like it's supposed to. So there we go. Now we filled it through here, which is the clutch and everything. So we're going to just let it sit and flow through all the clutches until it makes it down here, and then we'll tip it straight up and check the level. Okay, so it's been a little bit, and now we're just going to go ahead and stand the bike up. And you can see there, the oil level is almost perfect. All right, so we're all done. We hooked this little skid plate back up. So that's all there is to it. It's really a simple job that you can save quite a bit of money doing it. So now just make sure your first couple rides you monitor your level. Make sure it's not too high because then it might burn oil. Make sure it's not too low because then it might be bad for the engine. And if you had the issues like we did with all the metal particles, then you want to make sure after your first ride that you just go in there, change the oil again, pull out both filters, and make sure there aren't chunks again. Because if there are, then you're definitely looking at possibly some more internal engine damage, whether that be the transmission down there or the engine up there. But definitely don't want to keep running it through because then you run the risk of damaging more and you never want to damage more than you really have to. That's all there is to it. So be sure to give a like to this video and check out some of our other ones. We got a whole playlist on dirt bikes, and there's a whole bunch on this bike that we just picked up this year. So check that out in the top corner, and see you in the next one.